the experience. And then since there was no other candidates to speak, I've prepared some updates about the latest advancement of the EASTIN system, the technical system, and I can show you the first prototype under development of the reasoning system of the WHO to guide in the selection of assistive technology.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'll just hand the posting.
That's nice.
So I think we can start. Robin, if you start registration, you have already done. Wonderful. Recording is online.
Yes, and Mojca, while you're the host now, so that you can share on the screen, you also have to pay attention to anyone coming in and just click admit when they line up, because I can't do it while you have the host.
Okay.
Actually, Robin, I think if you assign the role of co-host instead of host, you can still keep your control on the waiting.
My problem is I have to do that before I start, and I have to know who they're going to be.
So please, Mojca, is up to you.
Okay, thank you. Just to find the share. Okay. So today I will present to you the smart home Iris. Is the smart home where I work with my team, and okay, and it's actually located in the University Rehabilitation Institute in Ljubljana. It's one central rehabilitation institute in Slovenia, because we're like a very small country with 2 million population, and it is located in capital Ljubljana. It's from Ljubljana, you can reach any part of our country within 2 hours, let's say. So it's very practical to be in the center. The Smart Home Iris was, it started as a project, and it was established, it was inaugurated in December, in late December 2007, actually just 13 years ago. The acronym is Independent Residing Enabled by Intelligent Solutions. So here in the picture you can see the institute. It's very large. There are approximately 680 people employed here. So it's quite a big company, okay, institute. And before when we started with this, we actually went through a lot of other smart homes that were built for people with disabilities or for elderly. We also came to Renzo Andrich in Milano, the that smart home. Do you remember Renzo? And the concept was
very well. I remember the first time you came. Yes, with the small van and all your team. But you did a wonderful work after that, really.
Thank you. So it was very nice, because my boss at that time was Professor Zupan, who was a wheelchair user, a wheelchair with powered wheelchair, and he had muscular dystrophy. So he was actually so motivated to build this feature, the smart home for people with disabilities, that anybody could be fitted with various assistive technologies and to be able to live as independently as possible. So the concept was that a lot of assistive technologies are combined with home automation, some technology from smart home, and also with multimedia through the internet. Remember, this was 13 years ago, and all the purpose was to actually to enable better quality of life for persons with disabilities and the elderly. So it is equipped with various assistive technologies, from the most simple to the most advanced. it is aimed to assist not only people with disabilities, like you will see with motor and physical disabilities, with visual and hearing impairments, elderly, but also their family members and caretakers. So, because sometimes you have assistive technologies that help actually the caregivers, not the patients themselves. And also it was planned like a living lab, like a laboratory where other people could also see the solutions and learn and test, like students, engineers, architects, researchers. And we have a lot of research projects that are going on in Smart Home Iris since the beginning of this project. It actually all began as a project, and then it was included in Slovenian national health system. So a person has actually, when it comes, I will talk about this later, but anyway, anyone can come to this Smart Home Iris and we actually assess the person, the user, the patient, whatever. And it is possible then to advise him together with the team what are the best solutions for him or her. So it enables, it's also included that we advise people how to adjust the person's home or workplace regarding their special needs. Either it is adapted equipment, technical aids, assistive technologies, various electronic systems, ICT, multimedia, and so on. And also to control the environment so that one can open the doors, open the windows, switch on the lights, open the shutters, TV, smartphone, whatever, through various manners, like remote controllers, various types of remote controllers, some that are possible to operate with switches, then with voice control, wheelchair joysticks, like special commands for powered wheelchairs, eye control through the computers and AAC devices, and so on. So to have a picture of this, it's actually the apartment is approximately 90 square meters, and it has 2 bathrooms. One is for a little disabled, not so severely disabled, so it has a shower, and you can see here the shower chair that can be also turned you can put it up and down, and you have all the floors are also non-slippery even when wet. The sink is height adjustable and so on. We will see then in the bigger pictures. And the other bathroom is for severely disabled that need all the care from their caretakers, family members, or whatever. The kitchen, you will see, is rotatable and all the elements are height adjustable. Also the upper elements are depth adjustable. Also the table is turns around and has heating and cooling elements. And then there is the bedroom with ceiling lift, as you can see here. Do you see my mouse pointer? Yes, okay, thank you.
Yes, we do.
Thank you. And the living room, where it's actually now it's we're waiting for the new sofas and a couch that enable people, it ease people to stand up or sit down, and the PC corner that I will also describe later. So as I told you, the sink is height adjustable. There for the toilet, one toilet in the smaller bathroom with shower is with this assistive technology that helps you to sit down and helps you to stand up. It's meant for the people with muscular and neuromuscular diseases, and also for the elderly or people that have problems with their hips. The other one, the other toilet in the other bathroom has the washlet, you know, like in Japan, that it's actually like a bidet on the toilet. And it's very practical because we have it also at home, at my place, because we have so little space and there is no space for bidet, and it is remote controllable, so you can do the intimate hygiene with washing and drying all the parts on the toilet. The kitchen, as I told you, you can see here a patient that is preparing some coffee. All the elements height adjustable. Here is one movie to show you how it rotates. So the point is that if you cannot go to the mountain comes to you. And also the plates come to you if you cannot reach, for example, for people with neuromuscular diseases. And here are the cooling and warming elements that I told you, so you can pre-prepare the food. The bedroom, as I told you, has the ceiling lift. I don't know if, I guess you all know this. So patients can actually test, patients and caregivers can actually test this facility. We also have a normal lift birdie, a small one that you can get from National Health Insurance. We have a lot of different ways to open the wardrobes, from shelves that can be pulled out, mechanisms like this, and also you can see that all the wardrobes, all the furniture doesn't have the bottom. That is intentionally, so that enables people that are on wheelchairs to come closer to the wardrobe. So the living room with PC corner that I showed you before on a small picture, it's actually, you can control the whole environment with the special command on the wheelchair through the remote controller of the TV. There are a lot of assistive technologies for information and communication technologies. Here you can see the first communicators. It's a device for alternative and augmentative communication that was operated by your eyes. My to be was P9. But now we have the last one, to be Dynavox I16. And because we also work with programs for alternative and augmentative communication. Now, the types of assistive technologies that we mostly deal with in assessing and with advising to people are aids of daily living. These are normally done by occupational therapists mostly, for bathing, dressing, eating, mobility, grooming, and personal hygiene. And then wheelchair mobility aids is actually for seating, mobility, and positioning. This is also mostly done by engineers and occupational therapists. Then we have vehicle modifications and home work environment communication, alternative and augmentative communication, and aids for leisure and playtime. So a few examples of each of these areas. For personal hygiene, for example, if you cannot scratch your back, you don't have the power, so you can just do like this and everything is done. This one is also for nails, for example, and it has, if you have only one hand that is functioning, you can see here the sucking silicone suckers. I don't know what's the name for this in English, so that it stays. You can put it on the, you know, like suction, and it stays on the place, so you can clean your nails. Also, various for nails clipping, for washing the feet. This one is very nice, so you don't have to bend actually. You can do it standingly or sittingly. Different assistive technology, various assistive technologies for bathing. Also for children, we have, we also advise for adaptation of bathrooms regarding the people's actual living environment. And then for dressing, do you know what this is?
Button hook.
Yes, some of it's actually hook that you can button your buttons with one hand. You go through the hole, and you get the button, and then you do like this, and the button is hooked. And for example, this is a big device. It's for shoes, it's for putting on the shoes. And it's also a hook, so you can get things more close to you. Elastic shoelaces, for example, that I tested many of them during my running, and it actually the elastic shoelaces actually hold enough for running, not just for walking. A device that you put on the sock, so if you cannot bend over, you just put on this device the sock and put the feet into the device and pull it up, and the sock stays on your foot, and this is free then. And device to help you put on the shoe. And then we have for the food and drink preparation, we have various assistive technology. For example, this one is very good if you have just one arm functional, for example, for after strokes or various other neurological disorders. It's like a fence for the dish, so you can actually do the cooking with only one hand. If you don't have enough power, muscle power, so you have various devices to power water, power tea, whatever, for sliding, for cutting, and various, you know, that you knife guider, or let's say. Then it's various different grips for knives, for forks. Then for eating, it's also adjusted handles and adjusted hooks and systems. This one is also very helpful for many people. That is actually a fence for a plate, so you can, and also for kids, because you can eat with one hand, and it stays on the plate, it doesn't go off. We also advise for the work environment, different various chairs, various let's say accessories for work, for computer tables that can be height adjustable, and also benches for the feet. For leisure and play activities, various technologies, also the for gardening, for holders for pencils and pens, holders for books, and etc. And this is actually my area, assistive technology for ICT and for augmented and alternative communication and independent living. And it's advise actually on various ways how a person can be able to control a PC, a tablet, a phone, a smartphone, or a communicator, and how one can control the home environment. So we have a lot of hardware that you can see on this picture. There's actually, every month we have something new, and it all goes now to the mainstream technology that can be adapted with various settings, applications, and so on. Because, for example, 10 years ago, there was no settings and applications that could enable a person that was, for example, tetraplegic, couldn't move the hands, couldn't move the arms. And for example, now you have a lot of free applications that you can control, for example, the smartphone only with moving your head. Or you can actually, we had a tetraplegic that learned how to operate the computer via a smartphone with his nose. And he had a remote camera, that's an application on the smartphone. And he had a holder for the phone holder. And with this application, he was actually looking at the PC and doing everything with the nose. And he said, now I can show you how you can enlarge a picture. And we were saying, yes, show us how do you enlarge a picture. And he did like this. So it's like, you know, with 2 fingers, instead of 2 fingers, he uses the mouse to enlarge the picture. So another area is also the, advising on the adaptation of home environment. We have in this treatment, as I told you, that is paid by the National Health Insurance, we have a possibility to go actually to people's homes, and we see what is the what is the issue and how we could adapt the house or the apartment or the stairs or whatever. And there are many lifts. A lot of times the biggest problem is the stairs. So there are serial available systems that can be just mounted, some that are adjustable, and some are individually made. Of course, these are the most expensive. But sometimes we also have patients that made these adjustments with the help of an old machine from, for example, from the industry, you know, for lifting stuff, pellets. So people are actually very innovative when we give them ideas. And also the smart home technologies, like mainstream technologies with like Amazon Alexa, Google Assistant, Apple HomeKit, that are sometimes combined with various assistive technologies. So as I told you, our team, we work, we have the multidisciplinary approach. So we always have a physiatrist that is a specialist in physical and rehabilitation medicine, who gives the anamnesis, clinical treatments, and so on. Then it's an occupational therapist who does the assessment of ADL, that is daily living, for activities of daily living, adaptation of home environment, application and training of assistive technologies. And then it's an engineer, like me, who assesses the assistive technologies and information and communication technology, alternative and technical support with alternative and augmentative communication, and training for all of this. Also, when there is a alternative and augmentative communication, there is always a speech therapist and other professionals. Sometimes it's psychologists, social worker, physiotherapists, depends on or technician, for example, for the vehicle adaptation. So when a person comes to our smart home, how am I with time? Okay, 5 minutes. when a patient comes to the smart home, we have clinical examination, physical assessments. The occupational therapist does the interview together with functional independence measure team and Canadian occupational performance measure, the COPM. And I also actually am involved in this because I can see what the person needs and how he assesses his current situation, how he does things and how he's satisfied with it, like performance and satisfaction. We assess the performance. The person tests various assistive technologies. Then we have analysis and evaluation, and then together with the patient, who is, because this is user-centered, we pick the appropriate assistive technologies for him, her, or the appropriate methods for him or her. And then, or when there is a need also for modifications of the work environment or the home environment, and then we get write the final report. So I told you about COPM, the performance and satisfactions measurement, and FIM. So I think that this is not really so much important. But to conclude, I already told this, that Smart Home is also a living lab, a place for new solutions and achievements. We have a lot of these research projects now. We're just finishing one, European Horizon 2020 project SAM, that we have a lot of wearable and ambient sensors that help coach elderly people. And we have eye care project together with Ahmed from Palestine. We have some new projects going on, and so if anyone would like to know, then yeah, the bottom line is the intention of the aim of this smart home is to enable people to live better, to have a better quality of life, and to be included in the community. So this was prepared together with Mojca, my supervisor and the medical director of this institute. So now it's time for your questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mojca. Very comprehensive presentation. And I recognize a lot of commonalities with my experience in the past and I think the current Claudia's experience now in Milano. I think the first question maybe is everybody has the same question. How do people access the service? They should be patients of the institute or they can just get a consultation? Is it free of charge? Is it upon payment?
It is free of charge, and it is valid also for inpatients, like patients from the hospital, and also for outpatients. For all one has to do is to have it's like we call it a prescription from the personal physician, from his or her personal physician, and then the person comes to the smartphone. So it's free actually, because we have the national health system organized that way. And the best thing for me is that we have up to 8 hours for each patient. So we can really, sometimes, many times we don't do it in one session, but we do more sessions. And it is very good because you can really devote to the patient, and you can really advise him the best solutions, and you have really the time to test all the things that needs to be tested. So I think that's the best, that you have enough time and you can actually develop a relationship with the patient.
Great. Is there, are there any other questions?
I would be curious about also the projects you are running, but I don't know if it's of interest of somebody else, or maybe if we can, I don't know, talk in another time or give us some documentation, I don't know, or if you have a link where you speak about your projects.
I agree, Claudia. It would be nice, sorry, Renzo, maybe as the project, some of the projects are in partnership with Ahmad, maybe we could have a presentation from both of you early in the new year.
Yeah, no problem. I can tell you now. I can tell you separately another time, because the things that I have been telling you today, presenting you today, it's all actually from my head, because I work with this for such a long time. And also the projects, I'm the the girl for everything. So I do all the work, so I can tell you everything. What we're doing right now, for example, on the project, and what we did before also in the past with the projects.
If we have some time.
If you are able to summarize in 2 or 3 minutes, and then you can take bilateral contacts to go in depth.
Okay. Yes, no problem.
Thank you.
The iCare project is actually the Erasmus project, and together with other partners from Ireland and from Slovenia and from Palestine, we actually managed the education, and also from Bulgaria, Bulgaria, and we actually did the education on the terms of the team was rehabilitation engineering and all the assistive technologies that go with this rehabilitation engineering. We did education for professors from Palestine. One time it was online, and one time they came here. So actually we had workshops from seating technology to vehicle adaptation to rehabilitation engineering in all the robots that we have here, from Locomat to Armeo to various systems that are actually on the market, mainstream. And also we had workshop in the research and development department of our institute, because our engineers, I'm an engineer too, we develop various prototypes, and sometimes the prototypes are then sold to the big companies that produce actually rehabilitation engineering equipment. This was regarding the iCare. So, and the professors also had workshops in Bulgaria and in Ireland. And it was all about transferring knowledge to the countries of the third world, is the word for it. To Palestine. And then the same project, the Horizon 2020, it was prolonged because of the crazy Corona era. We developed a system that was actually, with the help of technology, it enabled coaching for various pipelines. For example, for mobility, for activity, for social activity, for sleeping, and for cognitive, let's say, cognitive status. And the point was that with very cheap sensors, like some wearables and some ambient sensors and smart electric meter, smart power meter, it was actually the users' homes were equipped with this technology, and then the users, the primary users, like elderly, our institute has primary users, elderly, after amputation of lower limb. And the system actually follows you, and when it detects something that is not that is either too much or too little, for example, too little mobility or too much mobility, then you can pick secondary users like your neighbors, your friends, your family, and you can actually allow them different coachings to come to them, so they can call you or come over for a visit and say, oh, are you exaggerating in doing the stairs up and down? Or hello, you haven't been cooking for a week, are you okay? Or so that actually the technology connects the people, in short.
Okay, thank you very much. And I think there is will be a lot to go in depth if you take bilateral contacts.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, Mojca. And now let's move to Germany. So I don't know if Mareike and Martin are together. Please take the floor as you.
Who wants the hosting?
Thank you.
Mareike, do you want the host?
Oh, yes, please. Yes, please. Thank you.
Pleasure.
So, can you see my presentation now?
Yes.
Oh, just a second. I have to change the screen so to organize myself. Okay. I'd like to tell you a bit about the news, about things we are working on at REHADAT right now. And just a very, very short introduction. I think most of you know REHADAT already. We are based in Germany, in Cologne, at the German Economic Research Institute, Institut der Deutschen Wirtschaft, and that's in Cologne. And REHADAT has been established 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago now, and has been further developed over 30 years now. So it's quite established in Germany, and it's funded by the Federal Ministry of Labor and Social Affairs. So the main focus of REHADAT is the vocational rehabilitation. So we always have that in mind, but in the assistive technology part, which is a very big information part within REHADAT, of course, we focus the work participation or vocational rehabilitation as well, but of course also every other assistive technology part, because you can't just look at only one thing. So this is, just a second. This is a screenshot of our web portal on assistive products, which is called REHADAT Hilfsmittel or REHADAT Assistive Products. We have a German and an English version of this portal. We translate all our contents. We translate our database contents via Google and all the website contents via DeepL. And we have about 13,000 products in the database behind the portal. And we also have a lot of funding, which you can you see the mouse? Can you see it? No? Maybe not, but anyway, you can.
Yes, but it's white, so you cannot distinguish very well.
Yeah. Okay. And, we have a lot of information on funding too, and on the provision processes, which you can access via the provision section in the navigation. We have several ways to access the content or to search for assistive technologies. You can start with one of the information parts we've created. This is the 9 sections you can see in the middle. Like you can, for example, start if you're looking for for assistive technology for workplace or vocational training, you choose that one, or mobility and so on. We also have a search function via ISO, and you can always type in search terms. So this is how you can access the portal. I'm not showing the whole thing now. And this is the lower part of the web page, and there you can see the ISO search. And we also have a search where you can find apps. We searched the app stores there. We got all the keywords that are about disabilities or illnesses or assistive technology, whatever. We work together with the Danish database, because they have a lot of keywords with which they search the app stores, like the Android store and Google Play and iOS. So we offer this here as well. We have an FAQ, like frequently asked questions. We have a Twitter account. In Germany, we have a special situation that there is also a medical technical aids register from the statutory health insurance, which is a different classification system because of the legal regulations in Germany. So we offer this as well, and we have a big dictionary within REHADAT, and we also offer seminars and workshops on vocational rehabilitation and also on assistive technologies. So in the last year, Martin, when did we launch it? I think it was in January. Yeah, I think we showed it in the EASTIN meeting in Riga, right? And we launched a search assistant, which is a dialogue system where you can access, you can see it here, you can access all the information within REHADAT, not only assistive technology, via, you can just type in your question or whatever you're looking for, and then there is a kind of chat. It's a kind of chatbot starting and helping you to find the technology. This is a open source system. It's made with WordPress. Martin is the expert on that. Maybe if you have further questions, he can probably help you with all this technology behind it. And it's a machine learning, so it's based on artificial intelligence. And it's right now it's still a beta version because we have to do a lot of training because she's called Ariadne, by the way. She's not that intelligent by herself, of course, but so we have to do a lot of training to fill all these questions we get, like, for example, when what people type in when they do a Google search, when they come to our website, and then now we see what people try to find within the system, and then we are going to train the system now. So this is one part which you can also use in the assistive technology area, but so far this is only in German. And we have one other system. It's not really part of the REHADAT Hilfsmittel or REHADAT Assistive Product database. It's a database, but it's not the web portal. So it's an own web portal on the ICF classification. But there it is also possible to search for assistive technology, and there you search for assistive products via, like, for example, activities. So we have the whole ICF classification implemented, and we have mapped the ISO 9999 with ICF codes, so we can offer this search. And, like, for example, if you choose the D4 section, mobility, and you choose like fine hand use, I hope you can see that it's very small, and you go on and search for grasping, for example, and then you have the possibility to click on the assistive products area, and then you get, like, this is over 160 products that support the activity of grasping. So we're doing kind of an ICF search already, but now we're working on something new, because so far, for example, when you search, or when users come to our information system and search for in the assistive technology portal, they kind of, you need to have a idea what kind of product you're looking for, because it is very product based. You need to, you need to have an idea what product might be helpful for your problems or disability. And the ICF portal does it with activities, but the language of the ICF is very complicated, at least in the German version. It's probably the same in many other countries as well. So now we're working on like a mix of both thing, and we start a very new approach, but we're still working on that. It's not published so far. We're going to we're working on an assistive product finder, an AT finder. That's the working title, and so it is planned that users can start to navigate via like topics, which you can see here, but the wording is not ready, or it's just, I just translated it into English very quickly, so don't look at that too much. But you can start with a topic, like for example, when you want to or you have difficulties with activities concerning working or learning, you can start there. And then there is Ariadne again, the person you've met earlier in the chatbot, but now in a different layout. And she's going to ask you kind of, so what do you need the assistive product for? And then you, it's not quite like that because you're not typing your answer, but you will get a list of possible activities that might be interesting or might be important in that field. And then you can choose an activity and then you go to the next level. So it's a maximum of 5 questions that are the question answer system. It's a little bit like the Ask Sarah system from the UK, the DLF system. So in the end, you'll get a list of products. For example, here, if you're looking for an assistive product to write with a pen because you have difficulties to hold a pen, then you will get assistive products like grip adapters, drawing aids, and so on. And so it will be more, more user-friendly. And the technology behind it is that we have the ICF items or codes on the one hand and the ISO on the other hand. So we mapped it already, but now in between we put like phrases on daily activities, which we hopefully, which we put in a very common language. So not the ICF language, but a very common language, like I need something to hold the pen or something like that, because the ICF, of course, is not so detailed in that. So yeah, we're translating all the, or a lot of ICF activities in a common language. And yeah, it's we're going to start with 1 or 2 top categories, and we're going to further develop that. So this is the plan, and we won't cover the whole database. It's probably be just a part of the whole database, and it's not. In the beginning, we were thinking about doing something like that with based on artificial intelligence as well. But then we kind of ended up to say, no, okay, we have to really formulate, we have to really put the phrases, and yeah, we'll see what's finally going to or how it's going to end one day. And also the other Ariadne chat system, it's going to learn from these phrases as well. So it all works together. Yeah, but this is still in a working state, and yeah, I'm very excited. Yeah, how it's going to work and how users are going to use it, and we're going to test it then, and so on. So yeah, so that was what's the information about what's new within REHADAT, and I'm very curious if you have any questions.
Thank you very much, Mareike. I'm impressed with the lot of work you're putting in making the system user-friendly and giving quality information. So that's congratulations.
Thank you.
So we have time for questions.
Hello. And it works only in German or also in English? Because you said that you're translating.
The new thing, or the platform as it is now. What do you mean?
That are working on this Ariadne.
Martin, it's not working in English right now, is it? If there are questions put in English, what's going to happen right now?
It could work, but the training is at the moment just in German language. So if we put the effort in the training of German language and not in English, but maybe later we could also train the system on English language. So English is much more easier to train than German.
And the AT finder, we will put it in English too, because we put the phrases and we translate them in English too, but maybe in a second step, but that will be in English too, because the Assistive Technology website is completely in English, so it would fit. Yeah.
Thank you. Because we're also, I was also thinking of a bot like that for smart home and for the assistive technologies that we're actually advising and assessing and so on. So is it a lot of work and hard work to train a bot for this area?
Yes. So we put a lot of work in such things like the technical background, because we use different tools. We use a special tool for the dialogue management. We use for the natural language processing. We use RASA, the tool, and so our goal was that we want all these tools run on our own server. So we don't want to use any commercial tools. So it's all open source, and so we have all to do all the programming on our own for the work. So it's a lot of work. Yes.
Congratulations! I think that's really awesome that you have everything on your own servers. And yeah, that I see why it's a lot of work and hard work. Thank you.
Other questions?
No, I don't have any question. I would also like to make my congratulations for the work you are doing. You are really an example for all of us. Thank you for your presentation.
Yeah, thank you very much. I will send as soon as there is something online. The AT finder will be online. I will send it to you, and then you can test it and give some feedback whether it's a it's a good matching of the questions and the outcome of the assistive technology. So yeah, we'll see.
Wonderful.
Nice.
Thank you.
Okay, if there are no other questions, we can close this presentation. Okay, So thank you again, Mareike, and thanks to Martin also. And now to conclude, I have prepared something to inform of the last updates of EASTIN. Okay, thank you, I can.
Sorry, am I still, do I have to stop the
Yes, you just
presentation?
have to shut your screen down.
Okay, sorry.
Okay.
And then you can take the host back.
Yep, no, the host is back.
Thank you.
Renzo, I'll just hand that over to you now.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Yeah. So I try to share the screen. Can you see one slide?
Yes.
Slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is one slide summarizing the progress to date of the EASTIN system. So we spoke in details about technicalities when we had the technical week in September. But just to summarize what is the progress now. So now we have 8 connected databases, because as you know, Israel Azarim connected on November 17. And so the number of products encompassed by the EASTIN is almost 70,000. Well, we say 70,000, but we are aware that it means that many products are replicated in many databases because the EASTIN is not able to recognize that the same product is the same in several databases. But this is, of course, not a problem for the user, it's just redundancy. Okay. And then since 1 or 2 weeks, I discovered, because the Lithuanian colleagues didn't tell me, but I discovered that they were the first affiliate that started using the central repository to upload products. Well, some other partners did in the past, but just as a trial or experimentally. The story was that they have one company, one local manufacturer, who said, why are we not in the EASTIN? So it took time for me to explain to the Lithuanian colleagues and for them to understand how to deal with the possibility offered by the EASTIN. And then they put the products of this company in the central repository. I don't know how many of you knows the procedure. You have to use all the website, and the procedure is not friendly because we didn't put resources in developing that because there was no request so far. But they did, and now we have a kind of mini database from Lithuania also that takes part in the EASTIN system. Okay, so this is a good example for other countries who are affiliate, so have access to the central repository, and they may have products of local manufacturing that are not present in any of the database, and they did. And this also gives me the opportunity to bring the regards by the director of the Lithuanian team, Ilona Ogurkova, who just left for another job. So he told me best greetings to all the EASTIN group for doing that, for the work we are doing. Well, this is about the content. We took a lot of time to really make the plugin of Azarim successful. So, I mean, in principle, technically is very easy because the IT people of them took just a matter of days to plug in. But the problem is really to make it the content compatible, and they had to do a lot of work. However, now it works perfectly. Then now the system works in 21 languages and 23 cultures. And work is in progress now for solving the problem of management of right to left language, which is not really trivial. But we are almost at the end of this work. I have to show this example. Here you see the EASTIN as it is now. If we go to Hebrew, so you see that everybody of you knows very well Hebrew. So, but you can appreciate that the text is goes right to left. Well, so people from Israel can read it. However, this is not the ideal situation because the website is not really mirrored, no? Because also the structure should go right to left. Here is the same layout as in all the other languages that goes left to right. So you have assistive technology, organization, and so on. The real solution is to mirror everything. And if you go to the test version, you see that Andrea was successful, was able to find a solution. And now you see that everything is really mirrored, start really on the right end and goes to the left end. But the problem is that the system has some inconsistency. You see, for example, some lines that are not in the right place. And you see some tables here, they are mirrored, but the position of the codes is not really the right place. If you go in the current system and you make a search in Hebrew, you will find products, and you will see again all what is in Hebrew is aligned from right to right to left. However, the structure is still designed to work from left to right. And if we go to the version in development, you will see that there is a big difference. So we make a search again in the older system, which is slower, the test system. And you will see that the products are exactly mirrored. So the image is on the right and so on. However, making these things working and being web responsive, which means working on the smartphone or a tablet, and being accessible to people with disability is not so trivial. There is a lot of work ongoing. However, Andrea is hoping to finish this work at the end of the year or before Christmas. So I just wanted to give you an idea of what is the problem behind that. I will not go into details. But when we have solved this for Hebrew, this is open also for the future Arabic or other languages working from right to left. Well, the third point is that the ISO certification is now finally translated in all languages. So you see now the language layer completed also with the ISO in all the languages. You will still not see the Romanian because it is ready, but it needs to be loaded. So within days you will see also Romanian completely translated. Then there is the issue of the keywords. The keywords are translated now only in 12 languages. So we have Chinese, Estonian, Hebrew, Hungarian, Portuguese, Romanian, Slovak, Slovenian, and Swedish. That we still miss the file of the keywords. We have ready the Latvian still to be loaded, and it will be within days. So these members of the EASTIN has still to do this work. I will remind that with personal mails in the next weeks. Then if we look at the quality of the labels, so well, it's true that it works in 21 languages, but there are some languages that are not really perfect that means that many labels are forgotten, still appears in English. So these are Chinese, Hebrew, Portuguese, Romanian, Spanish, Swedish, and the Thai. And again, I will send reminders to colleagues there. However, we have made, this makes a very big difference compared with the situation at the beginning of the year, where many languages were really lacking in perfect. And so we say that we had a beautiful international system, but users who were using the system in that language sometimes got stuck. And this, and now the situation is almost very good. We have overall good content quality. We have minor inconsistencies to be fixed in the German, in the French, in the Australian web services. I think the colleagues know that what is about are, for example, in German, the German and the French web service have the information on manufacturers of many products, but they don't display the contact information in the EASTIN, just because the web service is not aligned to the latest version. But Martin knows, I send to him information, and Jan also. And the Australian web service has a problem with the detailed information for when you have the refined search for some products in the IT area. But I informed them about that. So overall, I think we have done a lot of work in increasing the quality of the system, and we can be quite satisfied with that. We have some new tools that are useful for the system administration, which is me by now. But for example, I can monitor, for example, where all the information requests or the product submissions. You know that if a user put an information request, this is not tracked by EASTIN, it's just forwarded to the partner, also for privacy, for our privacy policy. However, I can get tables of the requests that are anonymous requests, but in this case, I can have some statistics of what is the amount of requests, and who is from what country the request comes, who are the partners that are expected to answer. And in this week, sometimes I did some tests, and I checked if the partners received and dealt with the questions, and this happened. So, so we can check very well the working of the system. Well, this is about EASTIN. Is there any questions by now before moving to the WHO decision tree system? I don't see any question. So I move to the other part of my presentation. The other part is related to the project with the World Health Organization to develop a kind of a guidance system in the selection of assistive technology. So I will show a prototype, which is working now. In this prototype, don't look at the web interface. The prototype is about the internal engine of the machine. The bodywork will be prepared later. But you may understand the concept. So when you enter this prototype, there is a kind of dashboard that gives the current situation of the contents. Until now, for the prototype, we are training the system on 63 assistive products when we speak about products, we don't speak about a specific brand and model. A product is a generic product, for example, a crutch, wheelchair, foldable wheelchair, or so is a category of products actually. In this month, I have been working with 5 experts from various parts of the world to develop a kind of, let's say, narratives of these products that describe what are the characteristics of the products, but I will show in a minute. From these narratives, the system extracted a number of knowledge rules, almost 3,000 knowledge rules. And the knowledge rules of the system are those who will pilot, who will drive the decision tree system. The decision tree, what is something very, very near to the chatbot of which Mareike said that. So it's a number of questions where the user can say what is the problem, and the system is going to answer. So the approach, the external appearance of the approach is similar. So when I will show the narrative of the product, just a moment. For example, when I say narrative of the product is something like that, a text, a kind of fact sheet of the product that anybody can read, and gives information about the description, the configuration variants, the goals of the product, the impairments, and so on, the points to consider in product selection. Is actually a fact sheet, as many systems have, that can be read by anybody. This was the best way for experts to start developing some knowledge about the products. However, the system works in a different way. I go to the products list, okay, and now we have 63 products in which the narratives have been transformed into knowledge rules. I take a very simple product, for example, a elbow crutch, for example, okay. So you see that there is first a description, no, made according to specific syntax rules. So it says what is a elbow crutch? Is something belonging to ISO category 120306, and these handheld devices usually used in pairs, composed of I can't read there. Okay, of a hand grip with elbow support, a height adjustable shaft, and a rubber tip ferrule. Both the floor to hand grip and the hand grip to cuff distance are adjustable. This is the description of the user configuration of the product. So the first start is to define a product and what is the, let's say, the standard configuration. Well, sometimes you don't have a standard configuration, but is by default the configuration the system assumes when we mention the title elbow crutch. So now we have defined the product. We can enter the knowledge rules. So who is entering the knowledge rules? The intention of the system is that anybody in the world can candidate as an expert in this product. So there is a procedure. He says, I am an expert because, and there will be a procedure for acceptance. Then when the system says, okay, you can enter as an expert, you can insert knowledge rules. For example, let's open the chapter configuration variants. Now, the expert so far, which was me and the other 5 experts, entered these knowledge rules. For example, what is a knowledge rule? Okay, I take a knowledge rule that has been already entered, but can you imagine you as an expert, you can find this field empty. The question is, possible configuration variants include, and the expert says, for example, mild steel shaft. Then I can make a check. Now you will not see anything there. The check what means 2 things. One is to see if in the knowledge base of the systems are already sentences like that that express the same concept, maybe expressed in a better wording. Or you can find other knowledge rules put by other experts that are in conflict with that. In that case, you get an alert and you have to decide if you confirm your sentence or you want to change or whatever. Then you save and the rule is inserted. Okay. So these are, for example, the rules defining what can be the configuration variants. So the system is prepared for a kind of crowdsourcing knowledge, because anybody in other part of the world maybe knows other variants of this kind of products that, for example, in Europe don't exist, and they can add that. The same you can do for accessories or optional components. Then we come to the more interesting part. You have to define the product goals. In this case, the only knowledge rule that has been entered is, okay, the product is primarily intended to support activities such as walking. And here, if you use this syntax with square parentheses, you can also insert ICF codes that recall this activity. So you can express in natural language, you can express only an ICF code, you can express both. So we don't want to be linked to ICF, but to give freedom to use it or to not use, because as Mareike said, sometimes there is no ICF codes exactly expressing what you want. The same is about indicated impairments. For example, the product is primarily intended for people who experience problems such as moderate difficulty walking, and this is recall in some way this ICF code. So you can express also contraindicated impairments. For example, this is some experts say the product is not suitable for people who experience problems such as having had a fall in the past months or feeling at risk of falls. This is not a reference to any ICF code because no ICF code expresses this concept. So you can imagine you or your colleagues registered as experts, and you can choose the products on which you want to put rules, and you can put your rules, discuss rules entered by other colleagues, express disagreement with rules. So now is the task goes after a rule is entered to the artificial intelligence systems that uses 2 technologies. One is natural language processes, natural language analysis, which means extracting the concept from the sentence. And the second is deep learning, to go into the database of rules and to see if I can learn from these rules questions to be put in the search for people who searches. Okay, so these are the way to enter knowledge rules. The way to search is still to be developed. Now in this prototype, the user goes there and gets a question: what are the goals of the products you are looking for? In this prototype, you can put a sentence like in the chat box of the Ariadne. I will have, for example, walking. Well, now if I go on and put this question in this way, actually the system starts to work and try to get a result. But we have decided that the system will not work in this way. You will get closed questions. You will get a drop-down list of possible goals, and you will have a natural language box that will help to find the right item in the drop-down list. Because we want a system that always leads, which never leads to zero results, which is very much frustrating in a system like that, and sometimes also risky, because if the questions are too vague and are not directed by closed questions generated by the knowledge base, you can get really inconsistent results that may lead to bad decisions. So this is, in short, what is boiling in the kitchen. The expectation is to have a beta version ready at the end of the year, and at some time in January, maybe the system will be open experimentally to experts all over the world to increase the knowledge base. Okay, and the final deadline of the project is end 2021. So we have roughly 1 year work, 1 year of time to complete the work. Okay, I don't know if I have been able to give a glimpse of what is are working at. Of course, you know, the system will lead to a recommendation of a category of products. For example, you have this problem, we suggest you an elbow crutch. The system is not going to give you what products are available in the market, but this is the task of the EASTIN and our databases. So we can imagine how EASTIN may become important at that time, not maybe in the country where we have a big national system, but for all other countries, especially in developing countries, how important EASTIN may become. So yeah, finish it, and I ask if you have any question. You can, I can revoke. Okay.
Thank you for your nice presentation, and congratulations on all the work done so far and all the plans for the future work. We will do the keywords, we will finish at the same time, so we have another one language finished.
All things considered, Renzo, the year that we've had, there's been a lot of work put into the WHO project.
Yes, yes, it has been a very productive year, yes.
Because it was less than a year ago when you showed us the pro forma. So you've done a lot of work. It's extraordinary. Well done. It's great.
You know, working with WHO, we had to go through a lot of bureaucracy, of course. And the problem is that when you speak about we have to develop an IT system, all the bosses, all the head of information technology department, they want to be part of that, even if it's a small project. And so, and this took, I think, 6 or 8 months, the procedure longer. It had to go to a lot of it had to go through a bid with you know, there were companies competing to develop the software, and we have offers from company that offered to develop the system for €2 million, while the company who won and was able to keep less than 300,000.
Wow.
So, you know,
That's
when
Yeah,
they,
thank you very much.
when they smell dollars all over the world, it becomes complicated.
Yeah, very interesting. Very interesting.
Great, thank you, Ren.
When you said that the from 2021 it will be open for experts to type in the rules or to fill the system. And will it be published for the public to search, or when was that planned?
The plan is to start in January, to open for experts to input rules, and to have an intermediate public version published in June or July, and then open to the public. However, I'm not sure that it will be really possible, but let's hope.
So Renzo, the invitation to start inputting into rules, that'll go out through the GATE community, will it, that invitation?
Exactly. We'll go directly from the WHO.
Okay.
And well, I think it will have a side effect. Is not only it will also develop science, because the idea of collecting knowledge rules, especially in some assistive products that are not so much studied by the scientific community.
Yeah, that's a very interesting approach, because you gather a lot of knowledge, and yeah, I'm really interested in the results, or in what everybody or I'd like to put in goals too. So I think it's a very great work to gather all these expertise in assistive technology, and to, especially with the focus on goals, as we are doing it too, and not only on the product focus, you know what I mean? So not only it has it's made out of carbon or something, but it's exactly where can you use it and who might need this product. So yeah, very good. Yeah.
Okay, now it's 11:30, so we are due to close the meeting. And I think first we have to take the picture. Huh?
Yes.
So,
We have to say
nice.
hello to Francesco too, because he appeared during the meeting.
Yes, Francesco, hello.
Hello, Francesco.
Okay, tell us when you are taking the picture.
I'll take another one.
Okay. Okay, and now I think it's time to tell you Happy Christmas. Happy COVID Christmas.
Yes, happy Christmas. I hope it'd be nice.
Yes,
Hope everyone
and then
has
I think we need also to decide the date for the annual assembly, for the AGM. We have to do it in January, but we will discuss with the board. I think we tentatively, I think a good date may be the last Tuesday of January, so we have ready the accounts, and we can't imagine, of course, to make face-to-face assembly. We have to do online. So I think we propose to do on that date, but you will get information about that.
Let me just check the date. The last Tuesday.
It's the 26th, I think.
Okay.
I wonder if.
Yes, 26th.
Tuesday.
Yep, 26th of January. Oh, that's a public holiday here. It's Australia Day. We can't do that.
Okay.
Oh,
Mm.
okay.
So, but we can do maybe the day after.
Yes, we just have that day as a big public holiday. So the 27th or make it the Thursday, the 28th. I don't mind, just as long as not the 26th.
Okay. Okay, we will make an exchange of opinions in the board, and then you will get the invitation in January.
Okay.
Okay, so good luck to everybody, and stay safe.
Yes.
Yes.
Guys, take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
See you next
Bye.
time.
Bye.
Bye.